Did you know how special we are as men and women? One of the greatest gifts that a man and woman can ever possess on this planet is the sense of self. Being an individual, having a sense of identity, and being free and independent. Yes, is it simple or simple enough? You see, we were all born sovereign. Note that I did not say sovereign citizen. That has a different connotation in recent years. No, sovereign. Every living man and woman that has come into this world, born of another woman, we were all born sovereign. To be self-governing. That's what sovereignty means. You are self-governed. You make your own decisions. You have your own mind. You have your own likes and dislikes. You can use rationality. You can reason. You make your own choices. Self-governing. But how is it that we have grown throughout the evolution of man to allow other people, even corporations, groups, to form our opinions for ourselves, to tell us that we have privileges, when in fact we are born with unalienable, for some people, unalienable rights that can't be taken away from any of us. But we allow people to do it anyway. We are born free. Now listen, if you are doing something and you harm another human being, another man or woman that is, or if you take or destroy their property, there should be laws to govern this behavior. Otherwise, if you have not done anything to damage or take someone else's property or to harm another man or woman, you should be left alone. No one should tell you when to watch television. No one should tell you who to vote for. No one should tell you whether or not you should be a member of this party, political party that is, or the other. No one should tell you that you should enlist into the military against your own will. No one should tell you how to raise your children. No one should tell you what to believe in as it relates to a God. No one should tell you what likes you should have and what dislikes you should have. No one should tell you what clothing you should wear, what types of clothing you should wear. No one should tell you what you should do socially. No one should tell you that you should participate in any organizational events if you don't want to. You have those rights. Anytime someone makes it a mandate that you do any of these things, then they are intruding in your life, your own private and personal life. You are your own person. You are a natural person, a private person. If we use that term person, we actually are the people. But there have been many words that are common to us that have been reconstructed, redefined to benefit the legal society. And they have a dictionary called Black's Law Dictionary or Bouvier's Dictionary, various other dictionaries that have changed and distorted the common everyday terms that we use in our society to mean what they want them to mean in their society. This may be a little difficult for some of you to absorb or accept, but it's the truth anyway. I don't think I have to go down this rabbit hole too far for you to comprehend. That is, if you really want to know what's going on in the world in which we all live. Are you your own person? Are you your own man or woman? Or is someone else pulling your strings? Is there someone behind the scenes that's manipulating you into doing things that internally you really don't want to do, but you do it anyway because there's some form of benefit, such as a government job? In other words, are you working on a government job, local, state, federal, and you've been there for a while and it seems as though you have job security? You have a nice salary, medical benefits, vacation. Maybe you have acquired a nice home as a result, a nice automobile, and you feel pretty good, pretty safe. And when someone like myself present to you information that will help to break down possibly some barrier in your mind as to what's really going on in the world in which we live, you might feel as though you might lose that job, that plush position, as it were, if you disturb the water. What are you getting at, brother teacher? Is this. I learned something a long time ago. This guy made a statement to us in a meeting many, many years ago. He said, you have to stand for something or you'll fall for anything. My question to you today is, what are you standing for today? And if you're not really standing for anything, it's only one thing left. What have you fallen for? In other words, have you just decided to settle for where you are and what you are without disturbing the water at all, in fear of losing something? And 90% of the time, it's material things. You see, it takes a heck of a man or woman to stand for what they know is right. There are people, because of the fear of retaliation and negative ramifications for speaking up and speaking out against powers that be, or those people in positions of power. Those people ultimately die a sad death. You can't possibly feel good about yourself when you have really compromised what is truly in your heart. Now, it's not easy. And I sit here and I can't lie to you. It's not easy standing firmly on your 2 feet, on your square, some might say. It's not easy at all, because we've all been manufactured mentally since birth. We've all been hardwired since birth. We've all been programmed since birth to believe certain things, to be controlled by certain things, to be afraid of certain things, to keep us under control. That's how powerful the psychology method has been with us. Ever since a child, we had a television stuck in front of our face. Who controls the networks and the television? But the powers that be. We've had magazines, literature, books in school, and even in college. Who controls what goes to print and what is available to the public, the general public? The powers that be. We've all watched the news all or most of our lives. Who controls what's being shown on the news, especially local news, except the powers that be? And what about the internet? Are we being censored when we engage in our political views, when we express those truths that we come to know? Are we being censored? I believe so. You see, I am a witness. I put information out for years on the internet. And I understand what they call algorithms. I've had enough experiences online. I've had enough close calls where just that little bit of intellect in my mind lets me know that someone doesn't want me to disseminate certain information over the internet. And I found this out by my numbers being decreased, certain things not being monetized on those sites where I receive monetization, if you will, for advertising. And I have had several months go by, and I've had roughly the same amount of visitors to my site, actually on their platform. This is not by mistake. When you use certain titles, certain keywords, certain keyword phrases, they have what is called bots. Little tiny things that you can't see, nor I, but they travel throughout all of this information that we disseminate here on the internet. And they pick up words and key phrases and words and keywords, statements that you make. Milliseconds. And they can instantly ascertain whether or not you're talking about something that could potentially free a person's thinking, where they can think for themselves. And you may even cause them to take action in a positive way. They don't want this. They don't want the people to be free. They never have. You see, the people in the upper echelon and that 1% who control everything, they want to remain there. They don't want an awakened society. Because once the society, once the people wake up in numbers, then their agenda becomes exposed and threatened. They've never ceased with their agenda. They want to control the population by any means necessary. And they don't want us to interfere. So every time in any aspect of our lives, there might be a pilgrim, there might be a woman, might be a man, could be even a child, who shares any type of life or light that could liberate the masses, they have to come and see about you. And what I mean by that is they have to come and censor what it is that you're saying and disseminating. They have to throw some salt in it. They have to throw a monkey wrench in it because they don't want it to be heard. They know that we are becoming aware. Once you leave the point of awareness, you usually take action. So, who are you today? Are you your own person, your own man, your own woman? Will you speak the truth to power? Or are you afraid because you might lose something? You think someone is going to imprison you for speaking the truth? That could happen. You think someone is going to destroy your reputation or your good name? That could happen as well. You think someone is going to take your material things from you? That could happen. Do you think someone is going to threaten you in some capacity or another? Surely that could happen. It has always been happening. Maybe not to you yet. And it may never happen to you, depending on what decision you make. But I want you to know this for certain. If it doesn't affect you directly, because you're not disturbing the water, as I said earlier, it's going to affect you indirectly down the road. Because if you have any children and any grandchildren, great-grandchildren, they are going to be affected tremendously. And the outcome is not going to be pleasant. So these words that I'm sharing with you right now may seem kind of obscure, off the beaten path, maybe nonsensical to some. But there's a lot of sense in what I'm saying to you. I believe that I'm a fairly intelligent man. And I speak oftentimes seemingly in the riddle, depending on what I'm talking about. But I try to be very careful in how I word some things, because I want you to really, really think about what I'm saying. Now, the first thing that I said when I began is, are you your own person? Are you your own man or woman? Are you free? Well, the question is still on the table. Are you? Do you even know what freedom is? That's the funny thing. A lot of people don't. They think the fact that they can get up at any hour of the day, walk outside and jump in their car, drive to the grocery store, to soccer practice, to the liquor store, to the shopping center, to the children's school, to the donut shop, gas station, come back home, everything is okay. I want you to know that there are some things working in the background of what you perceive to be reality. Some might call it, and have been referring to it as, the Matrix. You see, the people who made the movie The Matrix, the creators of that movie, they knew exactly what they were doing. We actually are in a matrix. Things are not as they appear. What reality are you living? That which you see in front of your face, that you believe is reality, or that which is being hidden from plain sight. And actually, it's in plain sight and has been for quite some while. You just didn't recognize it or chose not to recognize it. I just want you to think on these words. This is Brother Teacher. Can you answer the question? Would you answer the question? Are you free? Are you free to make your own decisions? Or are you controlled by someone outside of you? And if you believe that you are free, what percentage of freedom do you believe that you have? Are you 100% free? 50%? 80%? Please, please, please leave it in the comment section below and tell me, how free are you as the individual? I dare you. I'm interested in knowing. We'll talk. So long.